Welcome to the Full Dive Gaming Podcast, bringing you a full dive of all the news, discussion, and insights you need for virtual reality gaming. This podcast is brought to you by Asterion Products. They're a top-selling company. We talk about them all the time. You've got to know them by now. They make amazing products for VR and AR, including their Aura VR headset stand. I'm Jay Bratt. I'm a VR YouTuber and streamer.
I am Nat Bratt, a VR lover who wants to meet Astrobot in real life.
We have a very special guest here tonight. Actually, the first person I ever met when I was in VRChat a couple years ago now, but just when the podcast was getting started. We've got VTuber Kunoleo. Kuno, tell our audience a little about yourself.
Hello, I'm Nat Bratt, and I'm a VTuber, I guess. The V stands for very special.
Very special tuber. Well, we're doing something special here. We kind of have a hybrid podcast. Right now, Nat and I are sitting here. You can see our real life faces. But Kuno here as a VTuber is fully present here as an avatar that has facial expressions, eye movement. And if you're not on the YouTube, I would definitely recommend checking out this episode on YouTube. Just kind of see what it looks like here. Kuno, we're super excited to have you on. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the avatar you're using and how you got that?
Well, it all started when I was a little boy. I don't know. I mean, I made this avatar with free software. Like, it's pretty simple. This is nothing fancy, really. It's called VRoid, like VRoid Studios. It's free on Steam. If you're listening to this, you can check it out right now.
And, maybe I'll leave a link to it. That's cool. VRoid makes me think
your avatar looks so adorable.
Thank you.
How long did it take to make?
I don't know. Maybe like 5 minutes.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Jeez. And here I am using my old Taffy avatar. I could have just made something better myself. Well, you know our podcast. We're here to keep you up to date in VR. We answer questions every week from our VR communities. We talk about some of the latest VR news and, of course, the games we've been playing. We've got some questions. So Block in our Discord asks, what is your favorite flat screen game? Kuno, do you have a favorite flat screen game? You said there's one you've been playing a lot lately.
Well, I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring lately. You guys probably had never heard of it. It's pretty niche. But yeah, I'm really into the guys who made a game, From Software. I'm really into their games. Like, they're really good. But my all-time favorite has to be the first Dishonored game. You guys heard about that one?
Dishonored. Is that kind of like Call of Duty?
No. It is first person, but you're like a ninja assassin guy. You're like old-time England during the plague and stuff.
Okay.
Around,
that
sneak.
Sounds cool.
It is pretty cool. It is nice.
That is cool. I mean, we've all seen Elden Ring. It's everywhere lately. I'm not big on those really tough games that take a lot of hours. How many hours do you think you've played so far?
I mean, I've been busy working and stuff, but I got almost 200 hours now.
Whew. See, I can't think of very many games outside of maybe Minecraft and GTA that I've even spent 200 hours playing. Obviously Beat Saber, but yeah, I don't have a lot of games in my life that are super grindy and I play a lot, but I think it's cool that some people find a game and it allows that much time. I think that's cool. I mean, Matt, do you have a favorite flat screen? It's really good. I've watched some people play it, obviously. It just looks so difficult for me. It doesn't look like something I would enjoy. Nat, how about you? Favorite flat screen?
I'm not good at having favorites because I like a lot of things, but my favorite like old school games, flat games are Spyro and Donkey Kong, probably. Donkey Kong Country, like on Super Nintendo. And I've been playing a lot of Pokemon Arceus lately. Also.
Oh.
What about you?
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, I think Minecraft, I like it better now that it's VR. And Grand Theft Auto 5 or Grand Theft Auto San Andreas are probably all some of the top games that I've played flat. I haven't played a lot of flat games in a long time, though. I've played a little Arceus with Nat just because she's playing it so much. And I spent a few more hours in Stranded Deep than I would like to admit. But yeah, I'm mostly always VR now. If I'm in a game, it's usually VR.
What about Overcooked?
Overcooked is fun, but I'm still trying to find a VR version, basically.
Yeah.
Block's other half of the question was, how many hours do each of you have in VRChat? Kuno, I'm guessing you're the reigning champion here. Do you have any idea how many hours you have?
I mean, I'm compared to the rest of the community. I'm a rookie. I think I have like 900 hours, maybe something like that.
Let me take a look at mine because I'm curious. 131 hours, but I got to admit that's mostly because we used to film the podcast in VRChat. So you're talking 2.5 hours every time, because when we used to film this thing in VR, the setup was just terribly long. I've probably played about 10 hours total in VRChat. I've played a lot more Rec Room, but we'll get into that more in the news section. Nat, I don't know if have you ever played VRChat for fun?
The first time you showed it to me, I think between that and we did a couple podcast episodes that I was a part of in VRChat, I think I've done maybe 4 or 5 hours in VRChat. I also saw there's a second question in Block's 3-part question that I think you missed.
Oh, what's that?
Favorite flat screen first-person shooter game.
Oh, favorite
and it also
FPS.
said, I don't care if you don't play them. Tell me anyway.
Oh my gosh. Kuno, if you had a first-person shooter game you played a lot of?
Half-Life 2.
Okay. Yeah, that counts.
Classic.
Nice.
That is classic. I'm trying to think of the last first-person shooter I played. I mean, I've played some Call of Duty and Halo with friends, but I mean, I can't say I've ever gone out of my way to play flat first-person shooters. Living in Oregon, I've shot probably more guns in real life than, a fair portion of people. And I find VR guns are just so much more fun. Like pointing with a freaking controller and shooting, I don't see the joy in it as much. But in VR, I love Contractors. Pavlov can be really fun. Onward is torture. But I definitely think VR first-person shooters are so much better. 'Cause it's more like a real gun versus, just pointing your little stick and trying to shoot something.
Yeah. Your little stick. This says, Block said, I don't care if you don't play them, tell me anyway. So I'll have to say Halo, because I think that's actually the only flat first-person shooter game I've ever played. And that was like in high school one time.
Back in the day. We got a really weird question from King Shoopy here. It just says Nickelback ? Kuno, do you have any opinions on Nickelback? Do you listen to Nickelback over there? Ever?
I mean, we know who they are, but I only know about them being a meme.
Yeah.
Look at this graph.
Yeah. Look at this graph.
Well, that's one thing I gotta point that out, because you say that. Like, Nickelback used to be this popular band, just like any other pop band. Everyone was, knew of them and kind of liked them or didn't like them, whatever. There weren't a lot of strong opinions. And until Nickelback became a meme, then it suddenly became popular to hate Nickelback. It's kind of like pineapple on pizza. Everyone was indifferent towards it or didn't care, but suddenly it became a meme, and all of a sudden everybody's, pineapple on pizza is gross, I hate it. And Nickelback kind of became the same way. It was like, it was cool to hate Nickelback, so suddenly everyone hated Nickelback, when for a long time no one had an opinion either way. If you didn't like it, you just switched the song, you didn't listen to it. But it wasn't like, oh, I hate them so much, they're so terrible. It was just whatever. So I don't really care. There's a few of their songs once in a while I might get it stuck in my head and listen to it, but I don't go out of my way to listen to Nickelback. So I do think that whole the culture of finding it cool to hate something that people do and then everyone hates it together, I think it's kind of dumb, personally.
Yeah.
It's mean.
Hate.
Poor Nickelback.
All right.
I have strong opinions on this, apparently. Yes. No bullying. Our last question this week comes from Starsight on our Discord. They said, opinions on the Cambria so far. So the Cambria, if you're out there and you haven't quite heard that term, Meta announced their next headset coming, and they codenamed it Project Cambria. They haven't released very many details, except they said this is going to be a high-end headset for the high end of the market, and it potentially looks like it's AR, XR, VR. It looks like it's not just meant to be a virtual reality headset. Beyond that, all the information has come from either people leaking information, people straight up stealing information. All these different things have come out. And so that now there's these potential renders of what it looks like and all that. So my opinions, I kind of like to wait till we have a little more grounded information than what we're looking at now. But beyond that, I may not personally be able to discuss much about it until information is actually released. So, Kuno, have you seen any of this inside information? Do you have any opinion either way on the Cambria?
I mean, The only thing I know is pretty much what everyone has been talking about. New full body thing, and like they show like those preview video things, someone with full body in front of a mirror and stuff like that.
Yeah, we've heard some stuff about full body, which I think obviously is a big attraction to someone who's in VTubing. One thing that really intrigued me was also the controllers now look like they're going to have their own inside out tracking. So the headset's not going to have to track the controllers. So that would mean if your controller goes behind your back or out of your camera zone, it'll still track just fine. It'll have its own tracking built in, which I think is really cool. The full body stuff, I feel like it's still kind of rumors, and so I don't have any concrete facts, but I feel like if they somehow figure out how to have cameras on the front and yet it can track your full body, that's really cool, because I would love to play around with some full body tracking. The only time we ever tried it was at Sandbox. But
that was really cool.
Yeah, as someone who's partnered with Meta, there may be more, but I can't talk about it anymore. So Nat, what do you have? What do you think?
We've talked a little bit about the Cambria before, and I think people are worried that it's going to be super expensive and not accessible for the average consumer. So that would make me kind of sad. If it's only, I mean, the rumors that we've heard is that it's more going to be geared towards businesses and stuff. So it might not be that exciting for us regular people, but maybe it'll be cool for all the businesses that are having so many people do online work and stuff, as we've been having more work from home options and stuff like that. So that could potentially be cool.
Yeah, and Meta said it's going to be high end. They didn't ever necessarily use the word enterprise. So I don't think it's necessarily targeted towards business, but I'm guessing when they say high end, we're going to be talking, a much higher price than the Quest 2, which is very approachable. You can get them between $200 and $400 right now versus this Cambria, probably, I'm guessing $700 to $1,000 by the wording they're saying is more the price. Although, a lot of people still bought Valve Indexes and they're $1,000. So maybe it will actually reach those people. We've got some stuff coming about what Meta's doing as we talk here in the news, but I got to tell you real quick about our sponsor. They keep the lights on. They keep the podcast running. Asterion Products. If you don't know them already, go on Amazon, check out the Asterion Aura. And if you decide, hey, I want a gorgeous throne for my VR headset, you can get 10% off with code FULLDIVE10 on Amazon. Meta announced a little bit of information about their Horizon platform. So for any of you out there who don't know what Horizon is basically Meta's version of VRChat or of Rec Room, but it also has workrooms, which is specifically for people to do their jobs in. Venues, which is where you go to concerts in and see live shows. Worlds is probably the closest piece to like VRChat. They're saying that this is going to it's going to launch on mobile potentially and on flat screen on internet. So they're really kind of going after what VRChat and Rec Room have already been doing for a while. Kuno, what do you think? Do you know anyone that plays Horizon or is in Horizon?
I mean, I heard about Horizon Zero Dawn, but I mean,
maybe a marketing fail right there. Maybe they should have chose a name that wasn't already part of a huge franchise. I spent a little time in it in beta. It's really like, at least at that point, it might have gotten better, but it really felt like a worse version of Rec Room back then. User created experiences. Yeah. Have you at least seen footage of it, Kuno?
I mean, I don't know if it was the Horizon thing, but I tried the thing on Quest 2. And I mean, there were some good people in there, like you could talk to, and they were nice. But there's always, there's no like, at least back then, there were no like, what is called parent control thing. A lot of kids on their mom's headset and stuff, like, do what kids do, screaming and making like screeching noises. But I mean, it was pretty like boring. I'm not gonna lie.
But why? Why does it have to be like that? Well, one of the things about this Horizon platform that they're saying, because they are making a flat version of it, a version that you can use on the internet, they will actually not have to take as much of a cut for their creators who create rooms and worlds that become really popular and make money on the platform. Because if someone makes one right now on Quest, there's a percentage of that goes to the Quest 2 ecosystem. There's a percentage that goes then to the Horizon fee, and they're left with less than 50% of the proceeds from these rooms and experiences they create. And they're saying that the mobile will, or the internet version will allow them to give like up to 75% of proceeds from what creators are making actually to the creator. So they're trying to make a sustainable system where people who come in and create great experiences that people love, these people can actually get paid and make real money.
Mhm.
What do you think, Kuno?
Fascinating. I mean, everybody loves money, am I right? I mean, like what did you say? They take like 50%.
It's a little over 50% currently.
I mean that's I wouldn't want that, you know, like fuck, I don't know what to say. Like
Well, it's interesting because this is kind of a new thing. It used to be with Minecraft and stuff, people made these worlds because they wanted to, because they thought they were cool. And now all of a sudden we're seeing this road to people actually being able to make a career out of creating digital assets inside of a social world or a VR world, whatever you want to call it. They're trying to open these doors to people actually living their lives and making their money and doing everything they do in this. And that's kind of a first step to this real metaverse they're talking about. Do you know of anything? Does VRChat, Rec Room has this now. Does VRChat in any way reward its creators who make popular rooms that people like?
I mean, I don't think you make money as far as I know, but there are a lot of cool worlds, right? And there was at least one time there was this convention thing. They had a bunch of companies showing off stuff. I remember seeing Sonic in VRChat and stuff like that, and you could ride a car. It was really detailed and nice looking. But
the Audi. That's actually where we met.
Remember.
That's where Kuno and I met the first time. I was walking around the marketplace that happens in VRChat, and these big companies pay tons of money to advertise their products in there to show them off in virtual reality. Kuno helped show me around because I had no idea how VRChat even worked. And we went and rode in an Audi together, and it was, a horrible the car was all jittery and everything it was not a good experience. If that was what driving an Audi is really like, I don't want one. But yeah, we're seeing these different ways people are trying to figure out how do we kind of monetize this virtual world? Does that mean putting up real billboards inside of virtual reality? Does that mean the people who spend the time making the big rooms, the murder mystery game, whatever that brings people into that platform, do they reward those creators? And Rec Room has started it. We're seeing Horizon is doing it. I don't know for sure if VRChat is, but it seems like it would make sense. If VRChat's making money, share some of that money with the people who are spending the time creating it, because that's what's bringing people in and making it popular. So these are all steps towards the goal of what we want to see of mass adoption of virtual reality. Nat, you have any thoughts?
I think it is nice. It kind of freaks me out thinking about having people's whole world be in VR, if someone just had their whole job was making worlds in VR. I mean, that's cool, but just thinking about the future of, the possibilities of people living their entire lives in VR, not having any reason to ever go into the real world. That's kind of freaky. But I think it's really cool that people would have the opportunity to get paid for their creative efforts, because it's just nice when people can get paid and make their livelihood on things they actually enjoy doing and are good at doing. So I think that's always a really nice thing to happen.
Yeah, yes. I fully agree. I think that it's something where I think it's good for people to get rewarded for what they make and do, but there's always that transitional time where it suddenly goes from, oh, hey, I get money for making these things in VR that I like doing, to where, okay, I'm going to try and make this my career, and then people don't like it as much. And it's a lot less enjoyable when you have to pay your bills off of your hobby versus you're making some fun spending money off your hobby.
True.
We've touched on Rec Room a little bit and what they're doing. Our other news here is actually Rec Room has announced that they have over 3 million monthly active users in virtual reality. Wow. That's a lot of people. Kuno, you're more into VRChat. Have you played much Rec Room?
I played it a little, I guess.
What is the VRChat opinion of Rec Room?
I mean, let's get real. It looks like shit, right? And
It's very
I mean,
cartoony looking, for sure.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like everything is there. It's just something that doesn't feel right, you know. If you compare it to like a VRChat, you can see like Scooby Doo and Shaggy, you know,
Uh-huh.
from Scooby Doo, and in another corner you can see like, I don't know, Son Goku from Dragon Ball or whatever. But in a rec room, everyone is like this bald guy with the same face, you know.
Right.
It's
Yep.
True. I
That's
know.
true.
I was pretty amazed when I first went in VRChat, like how good something like that could look, because I had mostly only spent time in Rec Room, and I was like, whoa. And the fact that there can be characters and stuff, it's very Ready Player One-esque.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's definitely a whole different thing. But Rec Room seems to kind of work well. Like when you go into rooms and stuff, things work and it's not all glitchy, which I found sometimes happens. Not always, but sometimes happens in VRChat. In some of the rooms, stuff gets a little glitchy. But yeah, it's definitely a very different experience.
Yeah, you can tell Rec Room, it's kind of a more closed ecosystem. It has its own engine. Everything in it is designed, guns that you get in Rec Room are guns from their paintball or from their laser tag or something. So they work the way you expect. Where in VRChat, you play like Murder Mystery Party and you pick up this knife and the knife doesn't have its own physics. It doesn't drop or fall. It would stay in the air. And you chase someone down and you try to stab them with it. And when you stab them, there's no like stabbing motion. The person just kind of disappears or something. You can tell it's written off a lot of, I don't know what the right word is I'm looking for here, but it's not a solid engine made by VRChat that only uses its own software. But that's why VRChat is so much more open to everything. You can make anything, you can bring anything into VRChat. Where with Rec Room, it really restricts you. You're forced to make your avatar out of what they say your assets are that you can choose. You're forced to decorate with your pen that's in Rec Room. And if you want to make something like a little Pikachu costume, you can do it by taking a bunch of yellow balls and putting some brown balls on that. And it's never going to look quite right because it's not really a Pikachu. It's one you've basically hand drawn using their assets. So it is very different. But because of that, Rec Room gets a lot of these active monthly users we're talking about here because there's so many games and it's so much more user friendly. You don't have to know how to code and how to do other things, how to 3D design to go build something in Rec Room that works because it has its own pen. It makes it easy for you. Where with VRChat, you might be doing the full work of a computer programmer to make your own world and room in it. And so because of that, VRChat is extremely, it's limitless. It feels like when you're in VRChat, where in Rec Room, there's a lot of limits, but everything works a little better.
I think that's why Meta is kind of going the Rec Room route for their Horizon worlds because it's more user friendly and anyone could, hop in there and create something without having a lot of knowledge of programming and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Last time I was in Horizon, I did notice it seemed like it was more adult. I feel like Alt Space is kind of the same way. Like if you really wanted to find a lot of grown-ups, those were kind of the apps.
Grown-ups.
Where Rec Room, honestly, it's a lot of kids.
Yeah.
And then VRChat, I feel like you get the edgy teenagers. So it can be hard to find your place where you belong. What do you think? Is that a fair assessment or am I wrong, Kuno?
I mean, you're pretty right. I'm not a edgy teen myself, but I don't play VRChat that much anymore. Sometimes, but like nowadays, like you go into any room, every world has a mirror, and you can see like a bunch of like anime girls just sitting and looking at themselves. That's pretty much what VRChat boils down to.
Yeah, I remember that was a big thing when I first tried out VRChat. Is like everyone's just standing in front of a mirror, like, ugh.
Look at me, I'm a girl.
I don't get it. I really don't. I tried to like stand in front of the mirror and move around. It never clicked for me why people like have this weird appeal.
Your avatar was not an anime girl, so maybe that's why.
I think I tried switching to one
True.
just to see, see if it did some crazy thing in my mind that made me feel disconnected or felt like, oh wow, in the mirror. But yeah, I never quite grasped that side of VR chat. Or like the talking to people, the hanging out, the going, seeing fun rooms. I get all that, but the mirror part, I don't know. It's beyond me.
Speaking of a disconnect thing, have you guys ever had like the phantom touch thing, whatever they call it?
I've heard about it. I've seen people supposedly use it. I feel like it's a placebo effect. And I'm not saying that to trash it. Placebo effects are very powerful. The mind's power over the body is, unmatched. But I think that there's a degree of people kind of getting it. And I think there's a degree of people playing it up. For those out there listening, if you don't know what that is, that's saying that if someone were to come up to your VR avatar and touch your VR avatar with their VR hand, you would feel it in real life. You would notice that feeling, even though you have no sensors, nothing that's actually making that feeling. You would just feel like it actually happened. I don't see that I could develop that or would ever have that happen. I think maybe I'm just not as, I don't know what personality traits you have to have for that to work on you, but I haven't. Have you, Kuno?
I mean, every time I put on a headset, I get the phantom touch thing. Because literally, I'm not kidding. Every time I put the headset on, it always feels like there's like one strand of hair right at my nose,
There probably is.
And-
There's probably a hair stuck in your facial interface.
The thing is, like, then I tried to use my finger to remove it. I'm like, oh god, I had to take off the whole thing, and there's nothing there. I'm like, let me try to blow on it. Let's put it back on, and it's still there. I mean, literally, like, it can't be just me, right?
I think that's like when you don't have your cell phone in your pocket and you definitely feel your cell phone vibrate.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. Do you get the thing though? If someone comes up and like strokes your arm in VR, do you
No.
feel like
No, I never had it.
So
Like-
that's
Like, why would I? Like, I don't know. I'm like, I guess I'm just too cool for that stuff. But like, it can be like pretty uncomfy, I guess. So when it like,
oh gosh.
you're like, get away from me, man.
Yeah, so it's like you can feel like the presence of a person and like feel them getting like into your personal space, but not necessarily feel like the actual sensation of someone touching you.
No, but that's what these people are claiming who believe in phantom touch. They're saying that you can hold hands and with your avatars and it feels like you're feeling another person's hand touch you. And I'm sure there's some sort of scientific explanation where your brain eventually starts to think, okay, this virtual avatar of mine is really me. And
I'm feeling it.
It's yeah.
I'm feeling my own hand right now. Whoa.
Oh my goodness.
I do wonder if people spent enough time, perhaps, because there's like the like phantom limb thing, like people that have lost limbs feeling like they can feel the pain still, or like they have like experiment things they've done where like you have like a mirror or something next to your arm and then you have an arm that's like not your actual arm and someone like hits it or something and people like feel the pain from it because their brain thinks that's their actual arm. So I feel like there could definitely be some potential of that actually happening to some people. I'm just not sure like why or when or how many people that would happen to.
I'm sure it's a small percentage, and I'm sure there's different degrees to what causes it. But I spent 10 straight days in VR, and by the end of it, my body was not like, oh, this is your real body now. Like the weird thing, I started to associate virtual faces with like real faces. My brain started trying to analyze virtual faces as if they were real. It started like looking for emotional cues in them because it was all I saw for 10 straight days was virtual faces. And so, yeah, I think eventually you could get to the point where your brain rewires a bit, but I don't think until we have good haptics, I don't think you're going to have a lot of that real feeling that's going to drag you into it. So, yeah, we're kind of just gotten into games because the news is all about games this week, but we got to talk to you about some specific VR games and what Kuno here enjoys. So one last time, I got to tell you, our sponsors, Asterion Products, they got Great products. I use their VR mat out in the garage or in my play area when I play VR, and it's the only one out of all the VR mats I've tested that I'm okay with being barefoot on because it doesn't stick to. If you want to go on asterianproducts.com and check them out, you can use code FULLDIVE for $5 off any order, $19.99 or more on their website. Check them out there. Kuno, we've kind of already touched on it, VRChat and your experience there. You were also telling me about you've been playing some AudioTrip, and I'm not even sure I know what AudioTrip is. Can you kind of give us a synopsis of the game?
Like, imagine Beat Saber without the saber.
Okay, just
That's
your hands. That's it. I was like sitting here waiting. I was like, did he glitch out? Did he disappear?
Beat Saber without the saber.
So is it a punching action then?
Like, they have like you have balls on your hands and you're supposed to like touch them, and there's like another action you can like hit the drums with the same colors and stuff. And they have walls like in Beat Saber. I really started playing it recently. I had it for a while, but they got like cardio mode. Like play 3 songs and you wish you hadn't. You know what I mean? Like, but it's pretty nice. Like you work up a sweat and stuff. It's really fun. Like, I don't know if they have custom songs, but they have like a few recognizable songs like the Gangnam Style, the Lady Gaga song, I think, and like I don't know.
By your description, the first thing that comes to mind is Synth Riders. Do you know of Synth Riders? Is it similar to that?
I couldn't tell you.
Synth Riders, you have like balls as your hands, but instead of like hitting targets, you're more like riding the rails, kind of like you'll see these rails and you have to like keep your hand in place. So you end up kind of dancing if you had your own, moves to it or something. But it's not as Beat Saber as in you're not doing as much punching or swinging. It's more of like a flowing that you do in Synth Riders. So I'm wondering if AudioTrip is a bit more like that.
No, I think it's actually pretty much like that, to be honest. Like in AudioTrip, you have like you have to take your hand on one of those balls, but then there's like this big string you have to follow, like stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
it definitely then sounds very very.
It's also
like
a dancing kind of game. You can like have it turned off, but like you stand still in a place and they come towards you. But then you can have like a golden silhouette of a person dancing, kind of like, oh, this is how you're supposed to dance, But I mean, I find it distracting. I just want to punch the balls,
I just want to punch balls. That's it.
I just want to punch the nuts. Okay.
Well, looking it up, it looks like there is a custom song editor, and it definitely looks very Synth Riders-ish. I'm curious which one came first, because I see that AudioTrip won one of the best dance game awards of 2019, and I'm not sure Synth Riders has been out that long, so maybe Synth Riders is actually the copy. I don't know. You've been playing it some. What do you think? Does it have the mileage? Are you going to be able to play it a lot, or does this feel like you might do 50 hours and never go back?
I mean, I think they add songs like every now and then, And if they have custom songs, I mean, that's a game you can come back to, like Beat Saber. I mean, Beat Saber is kind of iconic, it's easy to get the hang of, but AudioTrip is like even easier if you ask me. Like, you don't have to cut stuff, but you don't have to like, when you have to do this with your hand in Beat Saber to get those fast ones.
Yeah.
Yep. The quick notes. What do you think, Nat? Is this something you want
on your shoulders? I'm just thinking about because sometimes when I play like a lot of Beat Saber, my shoulders are like super, super sore. This one seems like it would be a little easier on the shouldies also.
Playing AudioTrip, like you get sore all over, so it like balancing it out, you know what I mean?
Okay, so more like full body. That's nice.
At least for me, I play like they have like easy, normal, expert, and then like cardio mode. And in cardio mode, it's like you need to like move a lot, with cardio.
Nice. I feel like I want to try that. It sounds pretty cool.
It is cool.
It's always nice to try different, because I feel like I get kind of in a rut with the like movement games. Like I do like Beat Saber or Supernatural, and I kind of forget there's like lots of other options out there.
Oh,
True. And kind of back to what we were talking about earlier, though, I feel like a lot of these games are going to really hit their stride when we get the body tracking, when we get the feet. Because, yes, it's encouraging you to dance and move around, but like if you don't have to hit targets with your feet, a lot of people are just going to stand there and use their arms and move around. So I feel like once they add, okay, you got to hit your foot on this side and your foot on that side, and you're actually moving back and forth, like that's going to really take a lot of these games, like maybe AudioTrip, Synthrise, to the next level. Because it's one thing if you're someone who just gets into music and dances, these games are probably for you. If you're someone who's just going to probably hold your hands where the notes are and you're not going to really get into it and try hard, it may not feel as exciting or as much exercise. Where for me, like when I play Beat Saber, it's a pretty full body thing. I'm moving a lot. I'm really swinging for them. My hips apparently. God dang it. I thought I'd beat you to it. I thought if I said something first, you might not bring it up, Kuno. Yeah, I get a lot of comments about my hip movements when I'm in Beat Saber. So, yeah, I think that's exciting. AudioTrip, well, maybe we'll have to check it out, Nat, because I tried Synth Riders and I found it just was too easy. I felt like I was already on like the hardest level the first time I played, and it just wasn't as exciting to me as Beat Saber. But maybe AudioTrip does it a little different. Maybe I'll like it better than Synth Riders.
It's cool they have a cardio mode. Sounds fun.
The cardio mode is like, if you ask me, it's like easy, normal, cardio, expert in difficulty. But like for example, like in all the other modes, like the notes are here. In cardio, they like spread it out a little, to make you move a bit more. It's pretty fun.
And then you hate your life and wish you hadn't done it, like you said.
Like, then you're just filling your headset up with sweat and it's getting everywhere.
I feel like we need better VR cardio equipment, like gear. Like I feel like there's not a lot out there, and some company needs to step up and make stuff that's like specifically for VR exercise.
Yeah. There's a huge market for it. We just need to make it happen. Something that'll do better. Kuno, I want to say a huge thank you for you coming on here and chatting with us. It's been really unusual to have like a full-on VTube going on when I'm not in VR myself. Because it's like, I feel like I'm actually talking to this avatar. This avatar's looking around and moving. So if you didn't check the podcast on YouTube this time, I would recommend definitely check it out there. Kuno, where can people find more about you? If they hear this and they want to come check out your channel, see you VTube, where do they go?
YouTube.
Your Kunoleo. Yeah. What else?
Okay, Kunoleo. I'm not on Kunoleo. I'm on YouTube. Kunoleo, my name, just put it together into one word. There we go. And I'm on Game Jolt, and I'm on SoundCloud.
You're on what's that second SoundCloud one you mentioned? I don't know that I heard of. Game Jolt?
Yeah, that's where I put my games. I make games.
Cool.
Awesome. Yeah, see, Kuno does a lot more than just play games. Make games, make songs, make music. There's a track floating around somewhere out there by Kuno about me if you want to go try and seek that one out and see if you can find it.
Find it on Spotify.
Wait, what? That song is on Spotify? Are you kidding me?
You just look up FAKKING nice. NAGS.
Oh my god! I had no idea.
Nice.
I had no idea that was on there. Oh,
and are you Kunoleo on all of those platforms?
Yes.
Cool.
It is me. I'm Kuno. Kunoleo. That's my name.
15,000 subscribers on YouTube. 1 million listens on SoundCloud. I have no idea. I didn't even know you had SoundCloud. I want to go look this up.
Not a lot of people do. So
I will not be sending your song of me to my parents, though. That will not be happening. Well, if you're out there and you want to find Kuno, I'll leave links in the description to all of Kuno's different spots, and maybe that song. I don't know. I'll think about it. Come hang out in our Discord server too. If you haven't already joined it, you've been thinking about it. I'm not sure if Kuno's joined our Discord, but maybe he's going to after this. You can ask questions here that you can get answered, like the Nickelback question mark. You can ask a huge question like that and get us to answer on the podcast. And you can chat about all things VR with us. So I want to say, if you're listening, consider watching. If you're watching, take us anywhere and listen. And Nat, what do they got to do if they're considering VR?
I have to always say, because we don't have this
Oh yeah.
that we say, but it would be really helpful if anyone wanted to rate, review, subscribe. We would really appreciate it. It really helps the podcast. And if you want to get into VR, you just have to dive on in.
Dive on in.